Today, I'm going to give you my breakdown of Adidas running shoes of 2019. 12.98 miles, about 10 minutes per mile, and about 138 beats per minute for the two runs today. I ran commuted to and from work. Not exactly sure on the beats per minute because, again, I left my chest heart rate monitor at my in-laws house over the Thanksgiving holiday. I've got a new one coming, so you won't have to keep hearing me complain about the readings that I'm trying to get from the wristwatch, but it also has made me run a little bit slower than I'd like to because I just want to make sure that I'm staying within my heart rate zone. I'll explain more about that in a video coming up next week. But today, what I wanted to do, my goal for today was to get a couple more miles in the UltraBoost 19, so that way I had a better sense of that shoe, so I can make this video and talk to you guys about the entire Adidas running line of 2019. And before I get to my detailed thoughts about the Adidas running line of 2019, I do want to go over some disclosures. Of the shoes that I'm going to be talking about today, some of them I paid for with my own money, and some of them were sent to me by Roadrunner Sports. Two of them were sent to me by Roadrunner Sports. That's the Adios 4 and the SolarBoost. However, neither Adidas nor Roadrunner Sports is paying me to make this video. No one's paying me to make this video or to wear any of these shoes. And no one's going to get a chance to preview any of this footage, although some of it has been seen before in the previous videos. But in terms of this overall review video, no one's going to get a chance to preview any of those thoughts until you guys get a chance to see this video on YouTube. Now, with those disclosures out of the way, let's talk about Adidas running in 2019. It can get confusing because Adidas is prolific in making a bunch of different models of shoes, variations of shoes, sub-variations, mini product lines, all different things with similar sounding words in them. But the way I see the Adidas running line, I think there's four main shoes that I kind of think about when I think about Adidas running. And the four shoes are the Adios 4, the Boston 8, the SolarBoost 19, and the UltraBoost 19. And those are the four that I'm going to talk about today. Of those four shoes, all four of those shoes have some similarities. They have boost in the midsole, they have torsion bars, they have continental rubber on the outsole, and the way that they vary is in the amount of boost, the kind of distribution of the boost, and in the nature of the upper. And when I talk about any running shoe brand, I always kind of try to attack it from the Daily Trainer first, because I feel like that gives you the best sense of what the brand is trying to do, and then everything kind of like derives or branches off from the Daily Trainer. And then for Adidas, the Daily Trainer is the SolarBoost 19. This is a shoe that I ran in over the summer. I think I first started running in it in July, finished running in it in after the Chicago Marathon into October. And it's a shoe that I really enjoyed, very comfortable to run in, very good for a variety of paces, from your easy days, recovery days, moderate efforts, and even some of the faster paces. I feel like there's a lot of boost in the heel, which I don't necessarily need so much boost in the heel for a Daily Trainer there, but it does give you that versatility. So if you're running with it on a recovery run, you can easily do that. But yet it still felt snappy enough that I can get moving on faster paces if I wanted to put some harder work into that shoe. I did feel like the upper was a little bit on the thicker, warmer side. I didn't necessarily like that. And I also felt like it was a little bit heavier than it needed to be for a Daily Trainer. But then again, it is a Daily Trainer, so the weight is not as big a concern. If I want to go a little bit faster than I might want to go in the SolarBoost, then the next shoe that I would look to is the Boston 8. Now the Boston 8 is a very fun shoe to run in. It has a much thinner application of boost in the midsole, both in the forefoot and in the heel area. And it has, for the most part, a very low-key sleeper style upper design, which I appreciate very much. But then when you get to the heel, it's got this like glossy Boston text on it. I'm also not a huge fan of the name. I don't like it when shoe companies name shoe models after cities. Just not a big fan of that. I love it when they make city editions of shoes. I just don't like it when they're named after cities. But that all aside, I really enjoyed running in the Boston 8 as both a daily trainer, but also as my faster day shoe. So anything where I was going to do a medium or a longer run with some speed play in it, or if I was going to have some intervals of speed work that I was going to be doing that are longer in nature, like half mile to a mile or longer, then the Boston 8 is definitely a shoe that I reached for. It's not quite as fast as the racer that Adidas has, which is the Adios 4. Now, the Adios 4 is probably my favorite of the entire Adidas line in 2019. There's something that is just so spectacular about the way that they've manipulated the boost in that shoe. It has the thinnest layer of boost of all the Adidas running shoes. And for some reason, that layer of thinness just does something really great with the boost and lets me experience the boost, I think, in a way that really highlights what boost is. It's springy, it's soft, it's fast, it's light, and I just really love running in the Adios 4. The only downside of the Adios 4 that I have, though, is I don't think my feet are tough enough to run in the Adios 4 for an entire marathon. So in that sense, I think it's an unsuccessful marathon racer, but half marathons and shorter, definitely something that I would love to have on my feet. It's super lightweight. The upper fits like a glove. Again, another sleeper style shoe that I just think looks spectacular. The Adios 4 is definitely one of my favorite shoes of 2019 in general, but also of the Adidas running line, it's definitely my top pick. I just think that it feels great to run in that shoe, and I always have a good time running in it, unless it gets really long. Then sometimes my feet start to feel the pounding on the pavement. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum is the UltraBoost 19. Now, the UltraBoost 19, going into it, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still not that deep into it in terms of mileage. But initially, and I've always kind of thought of the UltraBoost as being Adidas's max cushion shoe that they put in the running line that gives you more impact absorption. So whether you're looking to use it on your recovery days, or let's say your joints are just hurting you a little bit more because you're adding on mileage in your training block, or you're looking for a shoe that can get you through those longest miles, those weekend runs where you're trying to push the limits of how far can you run and you're not necessarily worried about pace, that's where I usually think that the UltraBoost fits. And I still think in 2019 that the UB19 fits in that kind of max cushion spot. However, they've made some changes to the UltraBoost in 2019 that kind of are pulling back on that. They still want it to be that shoe for people that want more cushion, but the way that they've just added a ton of boost in the heel in that shoe, and it makes it feel like you're leaning forward a lot more than I would expect on a max cushion shoe, or on an easier day or a long run. Don't care about pace, I'm worried about distance and time on feet. It doesn't really quite jive in terms of those two things, the angle of attack plus that kind of use case. So I think that they're positioning the UltraBoost 19 more as a daily trainer, just with more cushion in it, which I could see the draw and the appeal for that. The UltraBoost 19 is different than all the other Adidas running line shoes in that it has Prime Knit in it, which is a very comfortable upper material. I think it fits me like a glove, but it also has an appeal to more casual runners or people who don't consider themselves runner that might also want to run. And because they're not regularly running, they might appreciate the extra cushion and comfort that the UltraBoost can provide. I think that's from an overall kind of revenue perspective, I think it's a brilliant idea. But for me as a runner trying to like understand this running line, it makes it a little bit more confusing. But you know what? There's no rule that says that a shoe has to fit into a particular box. There's lots of shoes out there from multiple brands that kind of cross and overlap on a lot of these categories. And overall, I think that's more of a bonus than it is a negative, because it just means that a shoe has more range, and it means that you don't have to have a closet full of running shoes to be able to properly train for a marathon. You can have just a couple that you're rotating back and forth between and be just fine. So that's kind of how I'm understanding the UltraBoost 19. It can be both a daily trainer, or it can be that max cushion longer distance shoe. It still is really heavy. And so that's another reason why I really wouldn't think about it for my faster days, the days where I want to get in some really quality, hard-paced workouts. I'd still kind of save it more for those weekend long runs and also for my daily training because of the weight. But right now, you can get some colors and depending on your size, you can get the UltraBoost 19 for $180, even cheaper if you can find a promo code. It's the holidays right now, so pretty easy to do that. In terms of the pricing for the other shoes, all these shoes you can find at really great prices right now. The SolarBoost I was able to find on the Adidas website at $112, which I think is a really great price for that. I think that the shoe probably should have been priced at about $120 to $130 to begin with, but $112 is a great price for that shoe. The Boston 8, $72. I don't think the black one is available in men's anymore, but some colors, one of the colors you can get at $72. That's an absolute bargain. And the Adios 4, you can get, I still think in black as well, for $84. So if you're looking for a racer or a fast day shoe or even a track day shoe, the Adios 4 at $84 is just an absolute steal. So I know that there's other shoes that I've reviewed, like the Adidas Pulse Boost HD, and there's other shoes that I haven't even looked at, like the Solar Drive, the other iterations of Solar that exist for 2019. There's like PureBoost, PureBoost Go, PureBoost DPR, all those other things that are like subtle derivations. But these are the four, the Adios 4, the Boston 8, SolarBoost 19, and UltraBoost 19 that I think are the core for Adidas Running 2019. Now, to overall wrap up what I think about Adidas as a brand for running for this year, I know a lot of you guys, every time I make an Adidas video, two things happen. One, you guys are like, oh, you finally did an Adidas shoe. When the Adios 4, I reviewed in March. Boston 8, I reviewed in, I think, June. SolarBoost was in July. And in December, I did UltraBoost. That aside, the second thing that you guys always say is Boost used to be life, but Adidas really needs to step up their game to catch up to all the other brands. I think that they had a really great year. The Adios 4 was just a fantastic shoe. The Boston 8 wasn't the most exciting shoe for me to run in for whatever reason, but my feet always felt great in it. My paces were always great and were spot on. I was always able to hit the workouts in that shoe. It's not the shoe that I want, but it's definitely the shoe that I need. The SolarBoost was a surprise to me. I thought it would be this big, clunky, heavy, cumbersome shoe. And in some senses, it was a little bit bigger than I thought it needed to be. But I had very happy miles in that shoe. And the UltraBoost 19, I'll talk more about the UltraBoost 19 once I get to my 100-mile review on that, so stay tuned for that. I'm not as sure that the UltraBoost 19 is an absolute hit, but the Adios 4 and the Boston 8 definitely are. So even if you're not going to buy into the entire Adidas running line, if you're looking for that faster day shoe or that race day shoe, those are two options that I will always recommend, even if we're not talking about just Adidas. So that's my thought on Adidas running in 2019. Let me know what you thought about the entire brand or any of those shoes that I've talked about specifically in the comments down below. I'd love to talk to you guys more about it down there. Before I go though, I do want to remind you guys about the charity runner for this week. This week it's Tommy Hackett, who just ran the Seattle Marathon last weekend, raising money for the Pat Tillman Foundation. I was very happy to donate $70 to Tommy's fundraising efforts, and I'll post a link in the description in case you'd like to learn more. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making all the way to the end of the video, and I will see you tomorrow.
Yo, what's going on?